Hello and welcome to Talk the Walk. I'm Azam Khan. The non-ethnic Chinese population in Hong Kong is at around 8.5%, according to the last census. Hong Kong has a comprehensive, widely accessible educational system with 15 years of free education. However, social inequality in language still exists in the system. Execution on the ground level and accountability in all schools on making sure students are not compartmentalized while learning, particularly amongst the underprivileged, is crucial. My guest today devotes her time to tackling this disparity through her institute, Integrated Brilliant Education, or IBEL. She is also co-founder of Sanskriti, an institute which helps teach Hindi language and culture to the people of Hong Kong. Geetanjali Dhar. Mrs. Dhar, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you for inviting me, Azam.
Can you share with us a little bit about how you first started Sanskriti, which is a Hindi language institute, and then from there it went on to devoting time and commitment also to helping non-Chinese kids, children in Hong Kong, and their education for language?
I always believe that culture and language is the basic foundation of any individual. So in order to grow up a confident person, one has to know one's roots. Only then can one fly high. So when we moved to Hong Kong in 1999, I realized there was a huge gap. There was no proper pathway for Indian expats to learn Hindi. And I quit my job and I developed this program from scratch. And now it's a multinational and it's running in various locations outside Hong Kong. The good part is that the parents took Sanskriti with them wherever they went because they could not find a comparable program. So the idea of this is that no matter where we are living, we still should be in touch with the roots,
right,
and culture and language. Now it has grown much bigger than just catering to the Indian diaspora. Now we have businesses, we have corporates whose people are dealing with the, such a fast-growing economy.
Young professionals in Hong Kong that have to deal with Indians and going to India.
That's true. So we are running programs for corporates, for people who wish to deal with Indian clients and who have otherwise never lived or intend to live in India.
Right.
We are also in collaboration with, for example, HKU Space, running programs, Hindi and other Indian languages, South Asian languages for the people of Hong Kong.
Right. So this had a more of a language, the Hindi language mission.
Yeah. Yes.
And that was something which, when you came over here, you experienced. Perhaps were you were missing a bit of home and missing Indian culture and missing the Hindi language as well, or
absolutely, absolutely. So what happened was actually when we were taking our kids around for their extracurricular activities, we realized that all other nationalities have maintained their language and culture, and we were very impressed with that.
Right.
So immediately I got around to looking for a good Hindi culture program, which I didn't find. So I saw a need and I decided to fill it.
And then from there it came to this IBEL, which is Integrated Brilliant Education, and that more serves the underprivileged non-Chinese students and youth of Hong Kong. And a lot of them are Indian and South Asians and Southeast Asians. And that has a different mission altogether. That is to teach Chinese, Cantonese and Mandarin, I believe, to help with their development and their integration into Hong Kong society because of this language disparity, which we'll get to later. So how did that mission come from Sanskriti?
At the heart of both organizations is integration through language. So here what we saw was, as this is our home, and we saw that there were many people who have been here for generations. That's, like you rightly said, 8.5% of the population, but they don't get the opportunities to fully integrate because of the language. Right. So we started IBEL in 2014, and with the help of our very committed board, we started started with Cantonese, teaching them Cantonese, because the schools they go to, whether they're being taught English or maths or science, the medium is Cantonese.
Right.
So that is the first barrier they have to overcome.
Absolutely. And obviously knowing knowing Cantonese is of absolute importance, and knowing Mandarin.
Yes.
We even see it we saw it in the past amongst Hong Kong Chinese who don't know Mandarin. And now that's being addressed by the government and by the educational system. So now the youth are learning Mandarin compulsory, the integration is there. So even that existed amongst Hong Kong Chinese people for Mandarin, let alone for non-ethnic Chinese people, non-ethnic Chinese for Cantonese and Mandarin.
Yes.
Right, but so then if the education system is there in Hong Kong is wonderful, but can you explain where the glitch lies amongst some schools in terms of accountability and execution of integrating language?
Yeah. If you have seen the reports recently, the Chinese children are struggling with English. The non-Chinese are struggling with Chinese. So it is obviously there is some loophole somewhere
Right.
which is not being plugged.
Right.
The Hong Kong government, the Education Bureau have gone out of their way to address this. They have given enormous amounts of money and funds to the schools to, level the play field.
Right.
I think there, in my opinion, a humble opinion, the schools have to be more accountable. Definitely. The curriculum has to be overhauled completely so that Chinese children can learn English and non-Chinese can learn Chinese.
Right.
There's nothing, it's not a task which cannot be accomplished.
Sure.
In the same city, we have the international schools where children are perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Chinese children speak fluent English, non-Chinese also speak fluent English, and they equally speak Mandarin.
But it's a school-to-school situation, right? Because I've met and know many non-ethnic, non-Chinese people who know Chinese very well, who grew up here through the local system.
Yes.
So it literally is a school-to-school system that's a
Yes.
problem, and there's no uniform.
The non-Chinese, the schools that we are talking about, the local Band 3, Band 4 students, which IBEL caters to, those children, they don't have any means of learning Cantonese in after school.
Right.
The financial condition doesn't allow. And so speaking is okay because they pick up going to the market here and there, but that's just a smattering of Cantonese.
Right.
Their parents, for example, can speak fluently. So we don't know what's happened through the years.
Sure.
And now these children are lagging behind in Cantonese right from kindergarten. First of all, they're not given the equal opportunities to pick up the language. There is no support, even though the government has put in millions into this speaking Cantonese, helping them. The gap, what we have seen is that there is not enough accountability, like I said, and there is no structured method. There is no methodology being employed to teach these children Cantonese properly.
Right. And that, I think, to my understanding from people I've spoken to in other, with regards to education, this accountability and every school execution, it also exists in other aspects, like for children with autism, children with special needs, etc. Like there's a lot of things where, again, resources and money is poured into by the government. And there is a lot of improvements that's been made on the way, but yet again, from school to school, accountability to accountability, that's where the glitches lie. So it's the same thing with this?
Yes, I think so, because look, I can talk about language right now. Language is, the earlier you start, better it is.
Yeah.
The kindergartens, until a few years ago, did not have a standard curriculum. But when they apply for admission to year 1, the assessment is uniform. So if we have the kindergarten and there is a proper standardized curriculum, kindergarten should follow, then the children, when they apply for year 1 admission, they all know what benchmarks are there.
So can you talk a little bit about what IBEL's operation looks like?
Yes.
You guys are after school and you help the kids?
Right now, IBEL has 2 education centers. One is in Jordan, one is in Shamshepo. And in both the centers, we provide educational support right now. Because schooling is free for 15 years and the children, they are going to school, then they come to us after school and they actually first have to be explained what they did in the school because they have no idea. So our tutors, they sit with them. We have a very small ratio of, very effective ratio of student-teacher, 1:5. And each tutor gives personalized attention to the students. So first they understand what they did, Then they do the homework, and if there is any time left, they prepare for the next day.
And then you have some of your tutors and your teachers, are they also non-ethnic Chinese students in university?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In fact, our this year's group of teachers comprises of a Filipino, Indian, Pakistani, Nepalese, and who are fluent in English, fluent in Cantonese,
That's
reading,
wonderful.
writing,
So
and
there's a
speaking.
mentorship aspect to that.
Yes, we have IBEL incubator, wherein we do provide work experience to university students who want to, broaden their vision, get work experience. And because this population, the birth rate is much higher, job opportunities are going to be higher in this segment. The schools also will hire students who can cater, who can teach Chinese as well as non-Chinese students equally effectively. And they serve as wonderful ambassadors and role models. Role models to our students who say, oh, this person is like me, I can also go to the university. I don't need to leave the school halfway through.
Right.
They are inspirational for the students. And secondly, in their own, as and when they go into their jobs, maybe it is teaching, maybe it is nursing, maybe whatever they want to do, but they have this perspective as well.
Sure.
You know?
And I've noticed from following IBEL online and everything, that you guys do a lot of different events.
Yes.
The recent Rugby Sevens, you took
Yes.
the students there. You do a lot of immersive
Yes.
in society experiences for the students. So can you talk about the importance of that and why you do it?
Yes. IBEL has a very sophisticated social impact program in which we offer the corporates to get involved with us doing their CSR. And many have stepped forward. Almost everyone who we approached, they were so amazed with what IBEL is doing. They all came forward and they have pledged their support to the students, to the beneficiaries, because they see the long term, the effect this will have. Hong Kong will have a ready-made pool of qualified students who are proficient in Cantonese, who are good in everything, and they're well-developed individuals, completely immersed in Hong Kong's culture. So this rugby union experience, our co-founder, he works very closely on the social impact program, because the idea is to not get them all 5 A stars.
Right.
Idea is to equip them with job skills.
Sure.
And that will only happen when they appreciate Hong Kong and they think it is worth it to keep studying hard, to not drop off halfway. And so when they, for example, when they went for this and their families and they were all cheering for Hong Kong, and even when Hong Kong was not playing, they were cheering for Hong Kong. So, they feel a part of it.
Mrs. Dhar, I'm going to pause you there for 1 second while we
Sure.
take a quick break.
Sure.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Geetanjali Dhar. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Talk the Walk. I'm speaking with Geetanjali Dhar, co-founder of IBEL, a Hong Kong-based educational institute for non-Chinese students. Mrs. Dhar, now that Hong Kong's opened back up, obviously that probably has been crucial for you guys to be able to have students come back again and to be able to go out and do the different events that you were talking about, the Rugby Union, Art Basel as well. You talked about Art Basel. Can you talk about that, this new opening up and what that means?
Well, during COVID time, the children were cooped up in their 100, 150 square rooms, come homes. And however, IBEL never shut down. So we would encourage the parents to come to IBEL, take the homework and go back, because schools were giving homework online. The problem with these students is that they, in that space, they have no Wi-Fi and they have no means of accessing the online platforms. So our work was 3 times more. We were teaching the parent, then we were checking the homework, explaining to the parent. So our team was really working hard those 2-3 years. As COVID went down and Hong Kong has bounced back to normal, now the students come back, and for quite some time now they've been coming and going out. And yes, it is a very liberating experience for them. And even for the parents who initially would not come with us, with the children, because they had work to do. Now they're appreciating, what IBEL does even more, and going for these outings like you mentioned,
Right.
Rugby Sevens, Art Basel. Even today they have gone out. Divas for Good, another organization, they have taken them out. So
Especially during COVID when they were all everyone was cooped up
they were
inside.
all cooped up, yes. So now it is like, it's an amazing experience for them anyway, because even if there was no COVID, they anyway could not afford to go to these places. Rugby Sevens is out of the question. So it's only that when HKRU and our co-founder, they spoke, and this was explained to them, so the opportunities to children have grown multifold. So after COVID now, of course, we had a lot of health concerns, mental health concerns amongst the students.
Did the number of graduates and the number of enrolled students, non-ethnic, non-Chinese students, did that decline during pandemic, and is that rebalancing?
It is when many people have asked this question, our numbers have gone up. Because number one, we never closed.
Yeah.
Number two, with the help of our supporters and organizations, our outings, on an average in a month, we take different groups of students. We have about 4 outings a month. So our numbers went up not because of that, but because of the services we provide to this marginalized and underserved section of students.
Right. Can you talk about the importance of the collaboration which you and IBEL both do between the corporate sector and the public sector to help with addressing social causes, especially the one that you do?
The private sector, where we have seen that, the funding is enormous, like I said. However, it is a project-based funding.
Right.
So what happens is that it has the impact it could have. It doesn't translate into real impact.
Okay.
So if you have a funding, which for a program, you're supposed to only run it for 3 days a week or 12 days in a month, it is not really impactful because the students need help every day.
Sure.
Homework is every day, and school is every day. So, and similarly, if they give you, after 2 months, you have to have a new batch of students. So what happens to the 15 or 20 students who enrolled in the first batch?
So streamlining is an issue. Streamlining is something that needs to be...
And a pathway, you cannot just dump the previous batch and just ignore them and then take on a new one every time. That way, it's just doing, just whetting the appetite and then just leaving it to fend for themselves, leaving the children to fend for themselves. So that project-based funding is, I think, we need to relook at it. And everybody wants to start a new project.
Sure.
And which is, again, what about the old ones which are doing very well?
Right.
Agreed.
So a continuity and something like that is important.
Yes, that is important, and that is showing results.
Okay.
I think we should continue with those programs.
Bridging of cultural gaps as well, which you guys have to do, particularly between the non-Chinese and the Chinese community, because I feel like that also probably plays a role in terms of educating the rest of Hong Kong about the issue, about the barriers that these kids have to face.
The bridging, we have done it in a 2-pronged manner. One is, of course, to the social impact program, wherein whenever we go, when they go for the trips, the tour guide, for example, speaks in Cantonese, and the children are encouraged to ask the questions in Cantonese. And that is one way. That's the bottom-up approach. The other one is, like, for example, our in the incubator, the students who are going as teachers or other professionals, they spread the word in a very big way. First of all, when the Chinese students from the universities, they come, they say, yes, we know there is a non-Chinese segment in Hong Kong, but we've never met them. We don't know about them. And when they come and they go back to the universities and they make
spread
these
the word.
Beautiful, very well-made reports, and they submit it to their papers, they submit it to their professors, and it is published. That really has a ripple effect. So all the other students come to know, and then they come, and their parents come to know, they come and visit the center, and that way the visibility of this segment has grown multifold. So we try to do it in many ways. So, and we have our own network with the educational institutions, some of the very big private schools in Hong Kong, some of the universities, most of the university students, we offer them CAS, the service experience, and we offer to them admission into incubator. And there are many ways in which we offer these opportunities, and we have many. Now we have a wait list as well.
One of the first batches of local school students recently just went to the Greater Bay Area as part of their curriculum to learn and expose more on what's happening in the Chinese mainland side. Is that something as well that IBEL would consider as well?
Funny you say that, because 2 days back when the picture came in SCMP, I saw the students standing.
The station,
The first thing that came to my mind was, wow, I hope IBEL students can avail of this as well.
Yeah.
And this would be a godsend opportunity for them to go and see what the GBA is all about. And we would welcome such an initiative if they can also be taken. Why not?
Yeah, because there is a similarity in terms of what that is trying to do for the Hong Kong kids.
Yes.
And you guys also teach Mandarin to this.
Yes. Now as our support is to the studies that they do in the schools.
Right.
Right. And in the schools, when they are studying Cantonese, so support is in Cantonese, teach them Cantonese.
That makes sense.
Now that Mandarin is gaining more popularity, we have also accordingly introduced and got more focus on that.
You're going along with what the schooling system has been evolving, and you guys are evolving. That makes sense.
Because we are supporting their school education.
Of course, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about the fact that you're also the chairperson of the Women's Entrepreneur Network in the city. So can you just shed some insight about how that came about and the impact that that's doing?
Sure. Women Entrepreneurs Network was formed in 1980s. And since I had the privilege of joining them in 2015. And I, of course, because of I'm a businesswoman, so I joined them because I had founded Sanskriti. And I learned a lot in the 2 years and 4 years. And then after that, 2 years back, I was elected as a chair. In 2 years, we have introduced a lot of initiatives, like a magazine of entrepreneur. We have introduced a premium membership, and we have introduced our these many marketing initiatives for. Now, I want to emphasize one thing, that the board of WEN is on a pro bono basis. This is a non-profit society, and all of the women are very well-established businesswomen in Hong Kong. And they are offering their skills to other women, entrepreneurs in Hong Kong, who would like to know more, learn more, if they have a problem. So circle events, workshops, one-on-one counseling or guiding sessions are held, and also many social events wherein people get to know each other.
Geetanjali Dhar, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you so much, a pleasure.
That's all for this episode. I'll see you same time next week. Goodbye.